Good day, everyone. Happy Canada Day. I'm an honest politician in Canada. My name's Leslie Bory. I've been an independent candidate in 6 federal elections. Now, recently, on May 25th, 2021, the members of the House of Commons voted to no longer represent us and voted to dictate over us. What they did was they banned elections for the rest of the time. They blamed it on COVID. And they've used these lies to take our right to choose who governs us and who represents us away. I'm volunteering to be the Prime Minister of Canada until we can restore democracy in our country. Now, most people don't know me, so what I'll do to help you get to know me a little bit better is I'll share my vision of Canada with you. I'll share my vision of a Canada that's been represented honestly with you. All right, folks, so the first thing I would do is separate our government from the United Nations and also separate it from Great Britain. And by doing so, we'll be separating our representation from Zionist bankers. These communist bankers run the world. And just like foreign investment, they take more out of economies than they put in. When they print $100 in their banks and they lend it out to people, they always want more back than they created. And everyone's had that deal in the world pretty much. So that means that there's always more debt than money in this world. So it pretty well makes it impossible to print too much money. To devalue the currency by doing that, as some people may suggest, how can you print too much money if there's never enough to pay off all the debts? Unfortunately, when they print money with interest, every time they print the money, they add to the national debt. And they always draw out more than they put in. And the banks create this money out of thin air. So when they raise interest rates or they cause fluctuations in the economy, what they can do is they can make people default on their loans and turn that thin air into houses, businesses, material goods. And that's how the world's been working for quite a while now. These bankers control everything. So what I would do, if I was your Prime Minister, I would get rid of all the Zionist banks and just have the National Treasury and the Bank of Canada as our financial institutions in Canada. We'll back our currency with the most precious commodity in the world, and it'll be the most highly valued currency in the entire world. We'll back it with human labor. So a worker who works for the civil service will earn that worker's pay into existence. And they will be given an equal amount of money for the value of work that they've performed. And that's the finest standard to back currency in the world. So, doctors will earn their pay into existence. Police will earn their pay into existence. Firefighters will earn their pay into existence. And so on. You'll get the best services that money can buy, yet you won't have to pay any tax. Only corporations will pay tax in Canada to even the playing field between the small mom and pop businesses and those huge corporations who have been making a lot of profit during this crisis. In my vision of Canada, small business owners are very strong. They have the means to save money because they don't have to pay tax and they don't have to pay compensation premiums or unemployment insurance premiums for their workers. And workers will always be compensated because there'll never be a lack of funds to pay an injured worker or to retrain an injured worker so that they can go on being productive people in our society. I recommend, and I'll implement if you make me your Prime Minister someday, a policy where we reassess the value of homes. And the value of homes should reflect the incomes of people in our nation. These house prices have been artificially inflated. And one means that they were inflated was by letting foreign millionaires come to Canada and buy up our real estate. Also, real estate speculation has caused a lot of our troubles as well. Homes are a necessity. Just as clean air is a necessity to life, clean water is a necessity to support life, good, wholesome, nutritious, natural food is a necessity to support life, and so is shelter, and especially in a country like Canada, where our weather can vary greatly, and people can die of exposure not only from cold, but from being too warm. In my vision of Canada, a person making $15 an hour who works 40 hours a week and brings home $600 a week with no tax can pay $800 a month for a $100,000 house and have it paid off in 10 years. That also means that a person with minimum wage could conceivably support a family by themselves. And that would do a lot to crush poverty in Canada without crushing the impoverished. There's a lot we can do in our nation to make things a lot more livable for people. In my vision of Canada, I see senior citizens receiving a working wage in their old age to make sure that they have what they need. Especially after living a life where they couldn't even save up anything to put away for the retirement. This will bring huge relief to senior citizens. I recommend that we give the senior citizens a working wage of $20 an hour, which is $40,000 a year. And this should make their lives a lot better and make things a lot easier on these poor people who have been struggling living under these corrupt governments, and a lot of the times it's because they voted them in themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, my vision of Canada has students earning their pay into existence in universities and college. In my vision of Canada, students don't graduate with great amounts of debt. Instead, in my vision of Canada, students graduate with money in the bank. Also, students graduate with the future. In my vision of Canada, students don't go to school for nothing, just to come out and be told that there are no jobs. In my vision of Canada, we don't make race-based decisions. In my vision of Canada, we don't allow the media to lie to us. In my vision of Canada, we have freedom from a lying press. And also in my vision of Canada, we have freedom from organized religions, especially harmful ones. And in my vision of Canada, you'll have the right to criticize people from religions without going to prison and without their religious newspapers, their communist Zionist newspapers vilifying you falsely. In my vision of Canada, our armed forces are robust. I see 1 million people in our armed forces. I also see those 1 million people in uniform being backed up by civilians with a lot of firearms. And some of those firearms will be issued to civilians straight from the military arsenals. And those civilians will get training in the proper use of those weapons and tactics. I see our military working with us civilians in ridding us of these communists in our government today. I also see a Canada where we don't vaccinate people with harmful vaccines, or ask Canadians to play part in a theatrical production by asking them to wear props like masks to convince others that there's a problem when there really is no problem. When the problem is globalization and the fact that we've elected globalists to lead us. I see a Canada, folks, that's an honest nation, with honest leadership, with good people. It's the kind of Canada that we thought we'd have. It's the kind of Canada that's been sold to us. But it was only a lie. I want to make this a reality, folks. I'd like to make Canada a good nation to live in. We're good people, and we're being lied about every day. So for Canada Day, I'd just like to say good luck to all you Canadians out there, the real ones. And we'll see what we can do in the future. But these people that are harming us will not leave on their own. They will have to be physically removed from office. And I'll play my role in that as well, folks. I want to be a good leader for this nation. I'm not always right, but I'm always honest. And right now, that's what we need. So, in closing, everyone have a good Canada Day. Keep your heads up. And we'll see what we can